Welcome to Real Paranormal Activity, the network. Entertainment you'll enjoy.
You are listening to an RPA production, where people gather. LaFosse Corporation, LLC.
Mysterians, hello. This is Terry from Texas, your presenter on Terry's Mysterious Moments. Here at TMM, I like to present all sorts of weird stories. Not all of them are supernatural or paranormal. Some of them are just weird. Some are what I consider to be interesting. But then again, I like weird. I hope you do too. Well, this week, I want to talk about a story that I just found out about a week or two ago. And it's about a place in the northeast of England. It's a county called Northumberland. Now, I'm not talking about the term Northumbria. That's completely different. Northumberland is in the northeast corner of England, just under the Scottish border. And they have an interesting situation going on there. And we're going to talk about the Northumberland Bigfoot. It may sound like a fishy story, but something strange is said to be lurking in a northeast country park. And according to investigators, the fisherman's tale may point to the existence of the region's version of the half-human, half-ape Bigfoot. And of course, that description is up for grabs because we don't know if it's half-human and half-ape or just all something different. But anyway, like I said, Northumberland is a county in the northeast of England up against the southeastern border of Scotland. It's the least occupied county in England. Could be why we get these reports. It's unoccupied by humans anyway. Due to the lack of human occupation of the area, wildlife abounds. Thus, it is a popular area for hunters and fishermen, especially the Bolam Lake area. That's B-O-L-A-M, Bolam Lake area. A group of fishermen were enjoying the day at Bolam Lake and were contemplating an end to their outing after a shift in the weather. It had become cooler with a fresh breeze blowing, and they decided to stop fishing and just sit, enjoying the late afternoon peace. Then they were going to gather their gear and head on home. As they sat there, the sun began to ease down behind the woods across the lake. And as that was happening, they noticed something just within the tree line, something that appeared to be watching them. It was large, somewhere around 8 feet tall by their reckoning. It was a humanoid figure, but in this case it was just a shadow. It stayed within the tree line, but something about it really caused a surge of concern. As the sun sank further behind the trees and twilight began to move in quicker, the encroaching darkness allowed this disconcerting item to become a focal point for the men. The figure's eyes were glowing red, not typically reflecting the light like other animals, but seemingly glowing from within. And then, as the creature stepped into the remaining light, they noticed it had huge, glistening fangs in its mouth. And they were exposed and looked indeed frightful. The men decided that it was a good time to leave the area when the figure stepped out into the remaining full light. This prompted an unspoken agreement of the men that it was time to leave. They dumped their gear and beat feet towards their car, noticing how silent the surrounding forest had become. They got to their car. They piled in, and they put it in beefer boogie and headed home. The British Hominid Research Organization, which details reports of the strange creatures in this case, up to 8 feet tall and covered in hair with long arms and large feet, is the investigator for reports from Northumberland. It claims that the creatures, historically known as Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and Yeti, plus a plethora of other names around the world, have been spotted with the report of a sighting of the large figure with glowing eyes seen within Bolam County, Lake County Park. After contacting the witnesses, 3 friends, it transpired that it was not only their sighting of a creature at Bolam, there were 2 further sightings of the Yeti-like beast. In the first, a witness recalls a dark figure appearing on a track during a fishing trip. Well, it is a lake after all. He said it looked about 8 feet tall, was heavily built, and its eyes glared into the darkness. And we ran top speed all the way back to the car. A few weeks later, another witness camping at the lake is said to have heard a loud thud outside his tent, followed by a faint growl. He emerged the next day to find his fishing tackle gone. A mother and her son, about a year later, were at Bolam Lake for a day out. But at one point, the son became excited and tried to get his mom to look over into the woods. And when she did, she saw an enormous humanoid shadow watching them, or at least it appeared to be watching them. It was pointed their way. In an instant of mom protectiveness, she drew her son up close, then realized he was trembling in fear. But she reported that as she watched, the figure disappeared into the darkening woods. Not that it stepped back into the trees, it disappeared. Now, this seems to echo some other reports of Bigfoot and Bigfoot-type creatures that are there one moment and visible, and then poof, they're gone, like they didn't exist. I have considered this, and I subscribe to the theory that Bigfoots, Yetis, and the like are very possibly interdimensional creatures. Now, that very thought kind of goes against the way I was raised and the way I believed in everything so far, but it's got to be one of the only explanations. There are reports and suppositions which bring up the there or not there idea and raise questions like I have about the nature of these creatures. As I previously mentioned, one of the interesting things about these reports is that they report the eyes of the beast glow red, not as in an animal's eyes reflecting light, but seem to glow internally. Of course, official reports dismiss many of these reports made by people who have witnessed them. A Northumbria police spokesman said they had no record of any Bigfoot sightings at the lake. Big surprise, right? As per Bigfoot-type reports and most cryptid reports, it comes down to, do you believe them? There are some that I believe, and others which trigger my BS alert. Others still kick my giggle and guffaw response into high gear. Then there are others which makes me react like, oh, you're just gullible. Beyond that, what can you say? Well, I realize that this is a very, very short episode, and I'm sorry for that. But I found this story intriguing. and I thought I would share it with you. Personally, I'm a fan of Bigfoot, Yeti, Yowie, Sasquatch, etc. stories, as I believe in Bigfoot as being a true creature. Call me crazy if you will. Make your own minds up. I was at home in 1967 or 8 when Mr. Patterson and Gimlin were on, I believe it was it was an afternoon talk show, and they presented the film of the Bigfoot walking away from them across the creek. Now, at the age of 8, I didn't know what this was, but it was intriguing. I mean, here's the film. You know, it's obviously something walking across the creek away from the men. So, I've read stories since then. I've read about the Battle of Ape Canyon, where the miners were inside the shed at night. They were sleeping, and they come under attack by what could only be described as a bunch of Bigfoot, who rained down rocks on their shed, their house, beat on the side of the walls, surrounded the house, made the guys inside very scared. And in turn, those guys started firing through the walls and the doors and the windows. And eventually, the creatures left them alone. There have been so many video sightings of things in nature. Big black shadows in the woods, figures moving through the woods, figures moving through open fields, big black things. They have pictures of what they call the skunk ape down in Florida, which I'm not too sure that's not a monkey, but, or a orangutan. But I don't know. The people of Tibet have talked about Yetis for apparently centuries, and they've got proof of these huge footprints. What made them? I guess there might be a scientific reason why footprints in a windy, snow-covered area may somehow expand because the wind blows through them and it melts the inner surfaces, making them larger. I don't know. I don't know what Bigfoots are. I don't know if they're throwbacks of humans, or mixtures of human and apes, or just a specific kind of ape. But I still believe in them. And like I said, you'll have to make up your own mind about this particular subject. I am here to present stories. I don't have to make you believe. I don't have to try to make you believe. I just present a story. With that rambling over, I want you to have a great week. Be safe. And if you're in the South like me, stay cool. Just remember that Halloween is on its way, so cooler days are ahead. You folks take care, and we'll see you again on the next Terry's Mysterious Moments. Good night.